Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Skoda Enyaq EV6 RS coupe version, and if you notice one thing, the grille is actually illuminated. Isn't that super cool? Lights also look nice and bright, Skoda crystal lighting, but there are no fog lights. There are front parking sensors. There's a towing hook. It gets headlight washer as well. Big nice Skoda logo in the center. The key gets this gloss black finish. Lock the car, unlock the car, open the boot. It's the same key as other Skoda cars, which is a bit disappointing, I would say. Could have been a little different and special. Provision for a camera, which is not here right now. Let's open, I can't call it the frunk, but anyways, yeah. Oh my god, it's heavy. Doesn't have hydraulic struts. There's no insulation there. And there is no space here either. So they've actually placed the battery management system, I think, right here. Yeah, that could be better. At least they should have given some space. Indicators are functioning at the moment. That is where actually the DRL is. Now this being the RS is actually lower by 10 mm and 15 mm at the front and rear respectively. Coming to the side of this car, it's decent size, but it has a massively sloping roof line because this is the coupe version, like I was already telling you. Says RS here. You don't get a camera there. Wheels look really nice with this green treatment on it. Tire size at the front is 235, 45, 21. Yeah, 21 inches. It's a bit big. Anyways, it gets self-park. That's the reason the sensor is placed right here. There's another green one going there. Now, let's get inside. Request sensors are there on all the doors, of course, which is cool. Let's sit inside. Firstly, this is born electric, but because of the battery placement, under-thigh support is poor. Legroom and kneeroom is decent. Typical Skoda design, so magazine pocket, smartphone holder, some storage space here, two USB-C charging sockets, air conditioning controls, rear seat heating also placed here, tickling function is available as well. All adjustable headrest, light placement here, massive panoramic roof, no sunblind. This does not open either. Cup holders are there in the center armrest, all adjustable headrest. Nice finishing on the seats, which is quite good. Third passenger is not welcome here because of all this. Dashboard design also looks quite cool and nice. Yeah, very nicely done. Massive screen in the center, it's like huge, and headroom seems adequate for someone as tall as me, but you know, it's a little less, little less, because this is a sloping roof line. Getting in and out is not difficult. Height adjustable seat belts, multitude of airbags, there's a hook, there's a handle and all that. In fact, door pockets at the rear are also big enough. Nice treatment chrome, and you get a sunblind here. Yeah, you can just activate the sunblind like that. Let's just shut this. Charging port is placed here, so it can do a maximum of 125 kilowatt charging. That's the fastest it can go to. 400 volt architecture, of course. And it says Skoda right there. Lights might remind you a bit about BMW cars, the way they have been done. IV written here and Enyaq written right there. There's no rear wiper washer on this one. I don't know why. Rear parking sensors. There's a reverse parking camera with a cleaning function. Let's open the boot. I press a button. It's a big enough boot, like really big and nice. That is the charging cable of the vehicle placed on the side. I can recline the seat by, I can put the seat down by pressing a button. Warning triangle. I can increase the ride height from here, which is kind of cool and nice. Meanwhile, yeah, there's a 12 volt charging socket here. Let's go underneath. There is this, I think, charging cable is placed here. Spare wheel, I don't think it's there in this car because the spare wheel cannot be placed. It's huge. The tire size on this car is huge. Light treatments are nice on this car. But let's look at the rear tires for a bit, because they are actually bigger in terms of size. So 255 40 21s. Why is this not looking like a disc brake to me? Anyways, like I was telling you, request sensors are on the doors. Let's get inside. And again, similar to all other Skoda cars, you have got settings here. I think massage function is also there. You can save up to 2 people setting, memory function, powered seats. Both the front seats are powered. And here you can see it has this nice lining as well. Again, typical controls which you have seen on a lot of Skoda cars. Seats are nice and comfortable. RS badging here on the headrest as well. Meanwhile, this thing opens with a press of a button. I press a button, then it opens. Isn't that cool? And obviously, because of headlight washers, there's this button here. Light controls here and there. Now, this screen is really very small. I don't know why it's so small. This screen is really very big. I don't know why it's so big. 13-inch is the size of the screen. Huge. So let's just get inside. And there are a lot of things, but it's a little complex. So we'll get into the home function first. And there we are. It's fast enough. There's something known as vehicle. We'll get into the vehicle bit. It's taking some time to load. AC vents, a lot of buttons here, remote selector, tire pressure monitor, park assist, climate control, wireless charging pad, twin cup holders. This is the drive selector, electric parking brake, some storage space here, coin holder there, some storage space here also, and you can remove this, so it's big. There is a light inside as well, 2 USB-C charging sockets, nice pedals, it says RS here. This is the engine start button. The engine is actually started right now, but unless and until I don't get into drive, yeah, now it's telling me recuperation. Auto, that is the speedometer, battery charge percentage. So very small screen somehow. Let's actually get into reverse. This is the reverse parking camera. It gets guidelines, 360-degree parking sensors, but could have had a front camera as well. I'm sure Skoda will offer you that too. And here are light controls, auto dimming mirror. Let's open the glove box. Decent size, but lot of hard plastic somehow. And Isofix child seat mounts for the front seats as well. So overall quality is nice, but a lot of similar stuff to other Skoda cars as well. Heads up display is there, which is showing me a lot of things as well. It's a comfortable thing. Only thing is you need to get used to the screen. It's a little different in this car. Anyways, let's start driving right away. Alright, we're all set to go, which means turning on the car, and it's actually telling me in some other language. Steering will be hard only unless and until you get into drive mode. We got into drive mode, we get into mode right now, and I'm going to get into sport. There's so many modes, they're like crazy, 6 drive modes. Now, let's give a left indicator, let's try and get inside. Yeah, that's fine, nothing else to do, electric car na. What else can I do? And here we are. Straight away, let me just shut this. We're going to come to a halt. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, and off we go. Yeah, linear acceleration, very linear pull, doesn't put you, like push you back into the seat, which is kind of surprising. Now I know I did a walk around on the RS, but this is actually the sport line, but still a dual motor setup. This is the ATX, I think. So performance wise, it's still quite good. Oh my god, it feels heavy. We're going to come to halt. Brakes are okay, yeah, they're not that strong somehow. And left foot on the brake, right foot on the throttle, and off we go. 69% battery. Actually, it accelerates very fast. You don't feel the speed somehow. So 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in roughly 6.5 seconds for the RS. This will take around 0.3 seconds more. This is producing 265 horsepower. The RS produces 295 horsepower. And it has a 82 kilowatt hour battery pack, but it is actually 77 kilowatt hour net output. Obviously, some of that gets lost, so that 5 you can reduce there. Performance is good, but it's not going to put your pants on fire somehow because of the weight of this car. 2300 kgs, linear pull, does not scare you silly though. Steering is decent. You can feel the roll, you can feel it, right? Look at this. Plenty of body roll. So it's very heavy a car, and obviously it's an SUV, so it's a little top heavy as well. Around the corners, there's ample grip because all-wheel drive and massive tires. But these massive tires are very low profile, because of which, of course, it crashes through big bumps, and you can feel a bit of that as well. Now you've got these paddles, which is obviously for regen mode. I've turned on maximum regen. There it's decelerating quite quickly. Will it come to a halt? Obviously it will come to a halt. Yeah, regen is quite good. It's saying that on 68% battery, it is going to go to 27 kilometers. So come on guys, be my guest, do the mathematics. And there it is now cruising at 7654. It's going to come to halt. It has to come to halt. No, it's just going to cruise at 6 kilometers per hour. Maximum is on now. No, there I've turned it off. And here maximum regen. So there are 3 settings for the regen as well. But in the last one, the most aggressive one, it's just going to cruise at 5 kilometers per hour. Anyways, acceleration is good. But in spite of the RS being an RS, top speed is just 180 kilometers per hour. Oh my god, electric cars have done a Volvo. Yeah, that's not adequate, honestly. That's a little less, I would say. But when you want to make a quick overtake, there is no resistance or hesitation. Let's quickly talk about the charging times. Firstly, it can charge at a maximum speed of 125 kilowatt, and above it, it does not support. So if you use a 150 kilowatt DC fast charger, it will top up the battery from 10 to 80%, I think, in approximately 31 minutes. If you use a home plug point, that normal ghar ka socket, it's going to take a whopping 40 freaking hours, which is very slow, yeah. It's unbelievably slow. But then you can't use a plug point at home. That's obviously going to be ultra slow. I like the fact that brakes are good, but there's this nosedive under heavy braking. And off we go. So the front motor produces 107 horsepower, the rear motor produces 188 horsepower, combined output 295 horsepower. Problem is that it does not give you all of that in a sustained way. So after some time, the software will disable all that power and reduce the output, because it's like, I want to save the mechanicals, I want to save the battery, and I want to increase the range of the car. So that's very funny. It doesn't really give you all that output. Now obviously it's got a slew of ADAS functions, but the problem is that it should deliver all that performance. It does not. And then it's rivaling cars like the Kia EV6 GT, which produces 570 horsepower, and it's priced very similarly as well. So that is something which comes as a shock and a surprise to me, that this car just does not have sustained performance to be having the RS badge. Yeah, it just does not deserve the RS badge, honestly, because RS means some madness. That madness is missing in this car. Okay, little rear bias power delivery, but still it's not going to spin any wheels whatsoever, because things are very smooth and refined, just like in electric cars. Now the claimed range is around 500 kilometers. In the real world, it will return somewhere around 380, 400 tops. So it's not the best in terms of range, it's not the best in terms of performance, but then it is also Skoda's first all-electric car based on the Volkswagen Group's same architecture, which is in most of their cars right now. So finally we are getting a nice corner ahead to actually test how it goes around the corners. I'm not too very confident because the car is heavy, so you feel the bit of roll almost every given moment. It has got 288 cells and 460 Newton meters of torque. So 460 Newton meters of torque is good, I would say, because all that torque comes from 0 RPM now. So you have got that grunt, you have got that thrust, you have that performance, which makes this car very easy to drive, even out on the highway if you want to make a quick overtake. There's no hesitation, there's no resistance. It just gets the job done. And guys, stop staring at all the Skoda cars you're seeing which are coming from ahead, because I know there are a lot of them. Okay, now we have to take a left turn. Whenever I am coming to a corner now, I feel that there is quite a bit of roll, and the steering actually feels a bit heavy at lower speeds. It has this whine from the motor, a bit of whine, but thankfully there are no fake sounds coming here. So the car is not pretending to be something which it is not. The focus is clearly, and I'm saying it again, the focus is clearly on usability, reliability and practicality, something in which Skoda really excels. Brakes are so nice. Confirming I'm in sport mode again, because it just doesn't give me the sport mode performance. There should be launch control, there is none. Now it is underpinned by the MEB platform, which is the modular electric architecture, modular electric matrix, whatever, from Volkswagen Group, which also underpins the Audi Q4 e-tron as well as the Volkswagen ID4 and the ID5. And this is basically the ID4 GTX rival, the RS Enyaq. And it, realistically speaking, will charge in 72 minutes using a 50 kilowatt DC fast charger, because that's the one we have available in India. Steering is not the last word in terms of feel and feedback. So in terms of tech and all, it's quite loaded, it's nice, big, and there's also some storage space below here, because in electric cars there's no center console as such, because there are two electric motors, there's no transmission which will transfer power from the engine to the rear wheels. So obviously that practicality is there. In terms of practicality, it really excels. Now Skoda is betting really big on electric. In fact, we need to close this because I need to navigate also. So Skoda is like, they are going to be having 70% sales from electric cars by the end of this decade, which is quite a lot if you ask me, considering that their ICE cars are something which are really very good, because they use the 2-liter TSI engine and the TDI engine as well, which is available in Europe still, and that really performs fantastically well. The only thing is electric cars are boring, but this car does not even give you the pushback into the seat thing which you usually get with electric cars, because the whole delivery of power and that initial lag, I don't know how it's having that initial lag, really makes you feel bored. Yeah, it just does not accelerate off the line as fast as you would expect. That instant torque is there, but for around 20-30 kilometers per hour it is missing. Probably it has happened because this car is heavy and very well insulated, so you don't really feel that. So it needs some time to get over that weight, and you obviously have to wait for it. Now I'm driving in sport mode, so I'm having this complaint. Imagine if I drive in any other mode. So there are 6 modes. There's an eco mode, there's a comfort mode, there's a normal mode, sport mode, traction mode is for rainy conditions, and there's an individual mode as well. So it has got adaptive dampers. So we're just going to tweak this right now. It lets me change a lot of things, but the language in which it lets me change, I cannot understand. So I believe this is for the electric motor, then that is for the ACC. So normal, sport, eco and all that stuff can be done. Also for climate control, you can make changes. For the suspension, the steering feel, all that can be done as well. This car is obviously using a 400 volt architecture, so it does not get vehicle to load feature either. The thing is that it doesn't launch aggressively because you cannot turn off the stability control. No, traction control cannot be turned off in this car. It can only be turned off in the RS version. And yeah, you can see this is working without any lane markings, the lane keep assist, which is fantastic. And for such a chintu-mintu train, now we are stopping right now. Look at the size of the train. That's like a sub 4 meter train. There's no taxes if you travel in that train. It has a music system as well. Listen to it. This car has something known as progressive steering wheel, which I honestly don't understand. I think the weight progresses according to the speed, which is what the power steering should do, right? A variable power steering should behave that way. And over bad bumps now, you can feel a bit of vibrations as well, especially from the door pockets. I don't know what is vibrating, because low profile tires now are good to see, but not really good in terms of practicality. And I'm saying that in a developed country right now, you can just imagine the plight in India. But obviously Skoda is not planning to get the RS version. They are going to get the 80X, which is the dual motor setup, hopefully, which will be priced around rupees 60 lakhs or so, competing with the Kia EV6, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Volvo XC40 and the likes. This car is bigger than the Kodiaq. Not dramatically bigger than the Kodiaq, but slightly bigger, because this is obviously a 5-seater. The Kodiaq is a 7-seater, and the way I see it, the dashboard is just too massive. They make a massive dashboard now, so they can hide the electric motor quite easily under the dashboard, because obviously this is a dual motor setup. But I'm just wondering if they have a single motor setup, which is usually the case, because rear wheel drive by default is what it offers in most of the variants. There, the dashboard size will be the same. Now, they're not going to reduce the dashboard size just because of one variant. In the city is where this car is at home, honestly. You can just drive it very sedately, very smooth, very refined, peaceful, good in terms of performance as well. You want to close gaps, you can do all that. The suspension and the chassis has been set up on the stiffer side. Obviously with adaptive dampers you can change that as well, but it's not a spectacular car in terms of performance, but it's a Skoda, so it's simply clever with some of the features, and that is where it's going to really excel. Just don't look at an RS as an RS, because an RS is not really an RS. It doesn't offer you the kind of performance and thrill you're looking for. It just disappoints in that regard. See, over these roads, it just crashes through, and there's so many broken roads here. I'm quite surprised. The only problem and the only gripe I have with the RS, and I drove the RS for a brief amount of time, I realized that it just does not let you access all that power. You have some fun, the car realizes it just cuts down. The software decides that just enough is enough, don't give him all that power, reduce it. So when can you really access that 295 horsepower? Because when you can, like right now, there, it pulls nice and strongly, but unfortunately it doesn't give you all that power and torque all the given time, and that's the only disappointment I have with this car. Otherwise it's quite fantastic, looks quite quirky and different, seems practical enough, has good amount of space, tech, all that, nice. So this is clearly a car which does not, throttle excel when you drive it in the countryside. Specifically speaking, it just does not excel when you drive it through ghat sections, but it will definitely fare better out on the highway. So finally it is time to hit the highway to see how is the highway performance of this car, and I think it will excel there, because firstly it is a very wide car, it's quite big in terms of size, and that's something which will go for it, because most people want something which is big, which is having a road presence, and this is a car which definitely has that. They also have the Vision 7S, which is going to be coming in 2026, again electric car, that will have even more presence, because that is 4.9 meters in terms of length, which is absolutely crazy. And let me just merge here onto the throttle. Oh, it does pull nicely. There's the blind spot monitor. You won't believe it, this car actually will tell you very clearly in the heads-up display about navigation data. Something is falling from there. Oh my god, it's so much of stuff which is falling, so we're just going to use the wipers right away. Oh, plenty of spray on offer, cleans the windscreen in no time at all. So it actually tells you if you're drifting into another lane, it will actually show you there. See, lane keep assist is putting me back. I am taking this corner, lane keep assist has my back. What a beautiful heads-up display. It's absolutely fantastic, very nicely done. So you can cruise at high speeds without any hesitation or issue, because it feels very relaxed, but obviously it's going to deplete battery at such speeds, and that's the reason why I feel that electric cars are best in the city. Now of course you don't hear much of the tire noise, but you do hear a bit of the wind noise, because there is no engine which is making any sound. The motor has this whine initially, after that it has no sound. That's giving me the indication of the lane keep assist in the instrument cluster as well. Why is the instrument cluster so chintu mintu? Purely because now they, oh my god, what is this? So many warning things in the map right now. So the only reason why the instrument cluster is so chintu mintu is because they don't need to have a tachometer. So they decided, let's just shrink this. And here it kind of gives me the Honda Civic vibe, that there is a panel where instrument cluster could be extended to, but no, that's not the case here. So as I see it, this is a car which is best bought in non-RS trim, and that's the reason probably Skoda India is not bringing the RS to India, because it doesn't really have the RS-ness to it. It excels in the city, is loaded with a lot of features and all that, which is nice. But overall, if I had to buy one, I would definitely get the rear-wheel drive version and probably go drifting, which it is very reluctant to go because the rear-wheel drive versions do not let you actually disengage the traction control system, which is a bit disappointing. And on that disappointment, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye. Let's overtake this car. Oh, the speed limits drop, which means that I will come back into the right lane. Oh, sound came. There's some road work going on ahead.